Hey guys, it's me, Ryan, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new around here, my name is Ryan and I am a fashion designer and sewist based here in South Wales in the UK. And I upload videos here to my YouTube channel that are educational and are based on sewing and fashion design. So I upload tips, tutorials and tricks and literally everything in between to do with fashion design and sewing. Sometimes I upload vlogs of what I'm doing behind the scenes of things, or even just what I'm doing like for university and things like that, because I am currently studying my fashion and textile design degree, and I share literally everything I know here on YouTube, and a lot of you guys really enjoy my videos and I know you benefit a lot from them, especially my tutorials and my, like, for example, my overlocker for beginners guide. You guys are really enjoying that, and I think a lot of you that are new are from that video, so thank you guys so much for sticking around and supporting me. I really does mean a lot. So in today's video I am going to be showing you guys my top recommended sewing books. This video has been requested quite a lot and I'm finally sitting down to show you guys. I have a few books that I want to show you guys and that I recommend. There is definitely a book here for everyone, whether you're a beginner sewist or more advanced or even a designer. I really do believe that you can never have enough knowledge or enough theory based knowledge on sewing and things like that. Even though it is really practical, I do feel like you need to know how things go together and know how to do things in order to do them properly and efficiently. So that's why I personally have a big collection of books that I have collected over the time I've been sewing and designing, and I just wanted to sit down and show you guys the books I recommend, because like I said, they will definitely benefit you guys in some way. You don't have to go out and buy any of these books. You might just want to buy one or two, you might want to go buy all of them. It's totally up to you. I will link every single book I mentioned in this video down below. I have purchased all of these off Amazon, by the way, so they are easily accessible. And yeah, I think they're relatively easy to find as well. So if you guys are interested in what I recommend, please just keep watching. So the first book I recommend is this book here. This is Sewing for Fashion Designers by Annette Fisher. It is a really fantastic book, and it's actually the first book I ever purchased on sewing and everything to do with sewing and fashion design. This book is basically a complete guide on sewing. It has everything from fabric to sewing techniques to construction to seams. It really shows you how to do everything, and also even shows you the equipment you need to even start sewing. It has literally everything in there that you need to know, and I honestly can't recommend this book enough. It also has a lot of things on construction of garments. So it has a lot of things on the sleeves, the hemlines, it has fastenings and actually finishing the garment to a really high standard finish. Whether you're a beginner sewist or even advanced, like I said, this book will definitely benefit you. Like I said, it has everything on there. It has 5 chapters. So the first chapter is all about getting started. So that is anything on body measurements, pressing equipment, cutting out fabric, and basically everything you need to get started. The second chapter is all about materials and sewing supplies, so it's got everything on fabrics and what you really need in that kind of aspect of it. The third chapter is basic stitches, so it is seams and seam finishes and also some hand stitching techniques. The fourth chapter is all about sewing techniques, so garment construction, things to do with gathers, pleats and darts. So that is fabric manipulation on the surface, and also darts to do with, you can add them in your design, but you can also use them for fitting a garment to the body, which is actually really, really good to know. So whether you work with your own patterns or commercial patterns, you can actually definitely get some really good knowledge and advice from this book when it comes to that section. And also in chapter 4, it's got anything to do with the necklines, waistlines, pockets, sleeves, hemlines, linings, finishes and things like that. And then in chapter 5, it has everything to do with fabric and like specific fabric techniques. So we've got things like working with fabrics. We've got denim, knitted fabrics and stretch woven fabrics. It has anything to do with transparent and semi-transparent fabrics, so really lightweight fabrics, which I know a lot of people can struggle with, because I know sewing say a woven standard cotton fabric is going to be really different from sewing say a really lightweight chiffon or a really stretchy jersey, because you do have to have some different techniques to work with them. This is a really good book if you want to learn even just things about fabrics, because like I said, chapter 5 is all about like things like that. So this book is really, really fantastic, and it literally has everything you need in there. And also the author of this book, Annette Fisher, is a creative arts lecturer at a university in Epsom, so I think that's near London. So you guys know that this is a reliable source and it really is solid information. It's not just some random person writing a book. So yeah, I really recommend this. It is a fantastic book, and I will link it down below in the description box. And I still refer to this every time I sew, even if I just want to brush up on something or get a reminder of how to do something properly. This book really is fantastic. So the next book I recommend is it's one book, but there's a few different versions of it, and it is the Winifred Aldrich pattern making books. These books were recommended to me when I first started sewing because I've always wanted to make my own patterns. Whether you guys actually make your own patterns or if you just use commercial ones, these books will definitely be benefit to you in some way. You could even just learn how to adapt your commercial patterns if you want to. If you want to make them bigger, if you want to make them smaller, you can definitely learn a lot from these. Different editions, I'm not quite sure the difference between each edition, but personally I own the 6th edition of the metric pattern cutting for women's wear. I also own the 5th edition metric pattern cutting for men's wear, and then I own the 4th edition metric pattern cutting for children's wear and babies wear. The reason why I own all 3 is simply because I use the women's wear one for mainly my design work, and also if I want to make things for friends or family. The children's one of course is more for family, but in the future if I want to make clothes for kids and things, it will come in very useful. And then the menswear one I mainly use for myself, but of course if I want to make a shirt or say something for a man that is completely fitted to his body, this will allow me to draft a pattern specifically for them and their measurements. These books contain everything from blocks to individual patterns. If you guys know what a block is, it's basically like a basic what it says, it's a basic block pattern, so it could be like a basic bodice pattern that you would then trace off onto separate pattern paper, and they will be used then to adapt to any design you want. You guys have probably seen blocks before. They are those really like solid cardboard patterns that are usually hung in like a design studio or in someone's room, sewing room, that are simply just used as like a starting point to a design. So I really recommend these books. Like I said, they contain measurement charts, so if you just want to use the standard measurements but want to draft your own patterns, I recommend them. But you can also exchange those measurements that they give you in there for ones you've taken yourself. They show you how to measure properly, where to measure. It really is fantastic, and they've got blocks in there for overgarments, so like jackets, coats, trousers, shirts, pretty much anything you need to know. And also drafting for woven fabrics and for jerseys, like stretch fabrics. So if you guys are wanting to brush up on your pattern skills, like I said, whether you want to draft your own or you use commercial, I definitely recommend the Winifred Aldrich books. They are the best pattern making books out there, and again they are all linked in the description box below. So now I've shown you guys my recommendations on books to do with like the actual sewing and construction aspect, and then the pattern aspect. The next 2 books are actually on fabrics. I feel like when it comes to sewing and construction, again, whether you're using a commercial pattern to make something or you're drafting your own, I do feel like you really need that base knowledge on fabrics, because the fabric that you use will really affect the outcome that you want. Because some fabrics just won't sew up the way you want it to for a specific garment. Some fabrics really do act different to each other. You really need to know what fabric you're working with for each project, otherwise it can go south really quick. So the first book I recommend is the Fabric for Fashion, the Swatch book, and this is the 2nd edition with 125 sample fabrics. So basically what this is a massive book full of samples of fabrics. It has everything in there from man-made fabrics or fibers to natural fibers, animal fibers, plant fibers, silks, wools. They got linen in there, it's got cotton in there, it's got synthetic and artificial, and it's just really a fantastic book. I always reference this when I'm designing, because I am a person that when I design things I like to know what fabric I'm using first. It's weird, I like to pick the fabric first, or at least have an idea. So when I'm designing I always have this next to me, so I can just feel it and really get an idea for how it could feel without interfacing, of course. And then you could interface it if you wanted to have more structure, and it's got pretty much any fabric in there that you will ever use. Like I said, from silks, cottons, linens, it's got PVC in there, It's got everything, sweatshirting. So I really recommend this book if you want to find out more about fabrics and also the composition of them, how they feel, and really how they work in a garment. For each fabric swatch there is like a little like biography on there explaining how it works and what it can be used for. So this is definitely a book I recommend. There is another version of it, like the original. I haven't used that, but I know this second edition I have got much more swatches and that in there. So I do recommend this version. It is more of a pricier book. I think it's about £52 when I purchased it, but I'll have it forever, and it really is a valuable source. So yeah, I can't recommend that book enough. Again, that will be linked down below in the description box as well. So the last book in this video I recommend, again, this is to do with fabrics, and this is the Fabric for Fashion, the complete guide. So this is what this looks like. This is by Clive Hallett and Amanda Johnston. It also happens to be the same two authors of this book that I just showed you guys. And again, they are really reliable people, reliable sources. This pretty much explains the behavior and properties of different fabrics. So again, like I said, I do believe you really need to know, have at least a base knowledge on fabrics to know how they work and how they will sew up and how they will really affect the construction and the overall final look of your garment that you're making. Again, this is a really hefty book. It's literally filled with tons of information on man-made fabrics, artificial fabrics. It's got silks in there, it's got cottons, it's got literally everything. It's got things to do with colour, it's got how the fabrics are made, the properties of it. Well, like it says, it's literally a complete guide on fabrics. So if you guys are looking on books just to do with fabrics, I would just recommend these two because they're pretty much all you need. It's got everything in them and they're both fantastic. And again, this book will be linked down below in the description box. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. These are my recommended sewing books. They are really fantastic. If you guys have any of them, please let me know down below what you think. I personally love them. I think they're great, and I know a lot of other sewists and designers think so as well. So again, all these books will be linked in the description box below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and the bell icon next to it so you get notified every single time I upload a brand new video. And also be sure to go ahead and follow me on my Instagram page, that is also linked down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope it helped some of you guys out. Again, let me know down below if you're going to buy any of them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.